Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the September 13th issue of the Tucson Mortgage Weekly. We took a hiatus last week due to the holidays and short week and whatnot with Labor Day, so I appreciate the calls I got saying, hey, how come there's no posting this week? So here we go. Last week, there was a lot going on, a combination of several things. First, there was a lot of debates about continuation of the tax cuts, and would they, these are the Bush-era tax cuts, and whether they would continue in whole or in part, or whether they're going to spank the rich, $250,000 a year in income. Also further discussion about whether they were going to be implementing any new tax credit programs to help stimulate the economy. Connected up with some better than expected initial jobs claims and the hopes that the economy is really maybe better off than people think, pretty much sent stocks skyrocketing last week. They recouped a lot of their losses, and what that did is that sent interest rates up quite a bit. And as I have been advising my clients over the past couple of weeks, is that rates have been so good, have never before seen so good, that I've been telling everybody to lock. Well, since the highs were set, highs in the bonds were lows and rates were set on August 31st, the bond market has lost almost 200 basis points in its pricing, which translates of upwards of 3/8 to maybe a 0.5% in rates. And that's in basically a week and a half, not even 2 weeks of trading. So, man, it's just, rates are still great, don't get me wrong, but they are way up from their lows, and there's a lot of unhappy folks out there wondering why they didn't take advice and lock. Anyway, still very good rates, time to lock. Today, what's going on? Really early this morning, I was listening to World News, and in Basel, Switzerland, depending on how you pronounce it, central banks got together and decided that they were going to raise the capitalization requirements for banks from what appears to be 4% up to 7%. In other words, they have to have 7% of all their investments in liquid cash. And the purpose of that would be to help banks from falling into the same crisis as we did last time, which not having enough liquidity. Now, what that means in a good news is that it's going to potentially keep us from falling into a Lehman Brothers type a hole again. The problem is several. First of all, by having to retain 7%, that means that lending from a banking environment is not going to get any easier because they got to keep the money. They can't lend it out. And I think probably the part that's the weirdest piece to me is if you take a look, I started looking at some of the numbers behind what was going on, and most of the major banks, Wells, B of A, Chase, even Citi, is already knocking on 7% at what they're currently doing. They're at 6+, many of them. So by raising it to 7, who are they really targeting? Okay, so you say they're looking at the weak banks, but here's the gig. They gave them 8 years to increase that. So what in heaven's name are they expecting to happen over the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? And besides, everybody's going to forget about this by the time 2019 rolls around. So other than window dressing, I don't think this really is going to do anything for the banking industry. However, the banking stocks are doing well because at least now everybody knows what the target is, and uncertainty is what makes the stock market go bad. And so I guess people like the certainty. All right, what are you going to say? Personally, I think it's a lot of baloney, all of it. So if you have any questions, don't forget to give us a call here, Sun Street Mortgage. Check out the blog site for recent postings, TucsonMortgageBlog.com. Make it a great week. I'm Todd Abelson. Bye-bye.